out on an open house.
Right?
I don't think that's the case, but you never know, okay? Well, good morning, gang. Tim and Wendy here. This is the first of 2 open house classes we're doing this week and
Next
week.
Wednesday.
So we're recording them. We have standing room only in the room, okay? We have more agents than we know what to do with that are here. But the purpose of this is so you can always go back and watch it and keep the calls to us, not at a minimum, but you don't want to keep calling me and Wendy with the same questions over and over again. So that's the reason we record these, okay? So we're kind of good with that?
We're good.
Gotcha, okay. All right, gang, this is the first class of 2. And there's a handout in the class, just so you guys know. But the handout is basically what's on the screen, okay? Why do we do an open house? Jihad, why do you do an open house? Why would you do one?
To generate more customers and introduce ourselves to more people.
Yeah, it's a great free way of
Networking.
getting business.
Right.
Okay, most agents, this is, Wendy will tell you about her, but when I started in 2008, I did this for 3 years. For 3 years, as much as I could, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I didn't have clients, I was at an open house, a vacant open house. And I would bring all my signs, do the open house on Thursday from 1 to 4, put them in the garage. Next day, go back at 12:30, put the signs out, and I did that for years. And that's how I got business. And it was relatively inexpensive, I would think, right? Did you do a lot in the beginning?
In the beginning, I did. And then I turned more into a listing agent, and then I would have all the new agents that are coming into the industry sit in my open houses.
Yeah, ideally, as you guys will find out, most listing agents don't do open houses on their own property. There's a lot of reasons for that, I guess. We won't comment on whether that's good or bad, but if you're new, this is your chance to preview properties, get leads, cost you nothing other than
Your time.
your time. And running across Durango with 2 signs, avoiding cars hitting you or something. That's the only bad part. You got to put all these signs out, okay? So it's lead generation, it's marketing exposure for the property. It's one of the best things to do if you're new, because in 2008, I didn't know what to do. I had no clue. I'd come to RE/MAX every day wondering what the hell I was going to do, and then my coach said, let's do some open houses, and I jumped on that, okay? Worst case scenario, if no one shows up, make sure you bring a laptop and email clients. I used to bring a list and make phone calls from my open houses. I used to do property searches, okay? So it's great. You want 30 people to show up, but sometimes only 3 are going to show up. And it is what it is, okay? But the key to an open house is you just got to plan. You got to plan, you got to prepare. There's nothing worse that drives me and Wendy crazy is that the agent that comes to us on Thursday and says, I want to do an open house on Saturday. So you're a little late. You got to do it on Monday or the following weekend for the upcoming weekend, okay? Think about it in a positive way. Let me ask you, Jihad. Who's going to come in the house what type of client is going to come in the house primarily? If you get 10 people coming through.
Usually like the neighbors and the people, actually you get some people that really interested, they're looking.
What do you think about the neighbors coming in? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
It is a good idea.
Good idea, good, okay. When I started in 2008, for the first 6 months, I thought it was a bad idea. I went back to RE/MAX, I said to Rich, Rich, I'm buying cookies, I'm buying cases of water, and all these neighbors are coming in, taking all my cookies, drinking all my water, and they're not gonna buy the house, they live across the street. And then an agent there said, Tim, you're thinking about it wrong, those are potential sellers. Maybe they're coming to check me out to list their house. And then the whole thing changed for me. Then I was so much more excited to do an open house. Okay?
Well, when I would do it, I would do 12 to 1. It's just sellers. Just the neighbors. And so what I would do is I would market, because we're going to talk about how you market and brand and door knock and everything. So with that, what I would do is from 12 to 1 are the neighbors. And we would just have a neighbor open house. And then from 1 to 4, I would do it for the general public. So I get the neighbors in there so I can talk to the neighbors separately, because I don't want to miss them. They're like, oh, I'm just a neighbor. They run in and run out. I want to talk to them, so I give them select time. They can come in at any time, but I would try to market so I can get to them one-on-one.
Yeah, I would. I think what Wendy's saying is that we would create a
door hanger,
or a flyer just for the neighbors. Open house 1 to 4 in the Willows, 12 to 1 just for residents of the Willows. You get to see it first, so they feel special. Do they feel special? I don't know. But it's a good little touch, you know what I'm saying? And some would come from 12 to 1, okay? And what I used to do, I don't know if you ever did this, when they'd come in, have you done an open house yet? Okay, have you ever gone into one? Okay, you need to do that. This weekend, park your car and just walk into someone's open house. Make believe you're a buyer, okay? They're gonna ask you to fill out a form with your name because they wanna reach out to you in the future to see if you wanna buy another house. When the neighbor would come in, a lot of times they don't fill it out, right? The neighbor wouldn't fill out the form. No, Tim, I live across the street. I'm not going to fill this out. Well, what's your name? Oh, my name is Robert. Okay, Robert. And then eventually Robert would leave. I would try to figure out where Robert lived. When Robert left, I would try to follow him in a non-creepy way. You know, I go to my car and open my trunk or be on my phone. Or if worse comes to worse, if I know what street he lived on, when I got back to my office, I would go to that street in MLS and see if there's a Robert living on that street. And I would send Robert a thank you card for coming to my open house. I got more listings that way than any other way, you know? I mean, think about it. If you went to an open house and Wendy sent you a thank you card, you'd say, well, that's pretty cool. Holy
It's those
shit.
little touches.
It really is.
They make that set you apart from the other agent.
Yes, and dress nice. Don't dress in shorts and, you know, like you're going to the pool, you know, even though it's hot out, okay? All right, how do you find the ideal home for an open house? First of all, it's got to be a Realty One group.
Sure does.
Now, when did we change that? Was that recent?
That's with all the NAR stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that with the way that the NAR rules are, anybody that walks into open house, they are a potential client, so you would have to have them sign the BBRA. But if it is your own listing or a listing with your brokerage, they do not. So now we are requiring the agents to go ahead and do open houses only on the Realty One group listings.
Correct. And I don't know, do we want to pull up MLS in the middle a bit and play with that? Okay.
I kind of added some steps on how to find it.
Okay, so this is an idea of how to go into MLS and find it, okay? You want to go to our properties first, Realty One Group, because you can't do it on a Keller Williams property or Coldwell Banker, like Wendy said. It's got to be one of ours, okay? But there's different ways that you can search in MLS. And the key is you want to start to search Saturday or Sunday or Monday for that following weekend. Don't come to Wendy on Thursday, like I said, and say, I want to do an open house.
Takes time to prepare.
Yeah, the open house signs are probably going to be gone. We have to prepare a flyer. You might want a door knock. So there's some things you want to do in advance, okay? And maybe consider in the beginning, Jihad, is doing it with someone else. Don't do it by yourself. Do the first one or two with another mentee. I'm sure they would, you know, team up with you to do it, okay? Or if another experienced agent is doing one, like let's say you log into Facebook and, I don't know, Judy is doing an open house this weekend. Just show up. She'll say, are you Jihad? Yeah, you were a Realty One, right? And see what she did. See how she did it. You know, see what she says to people. That's how you're going to learn how to do this.
You could ask them just to shadow. Can I, you know what, I'm new, I haven't really done one. Can I shadow just to see how you set everything up? Most of our agents are really understanding of that. And even if you wanted to post on Facebook, I'm new and just wanted to shadow somebody doing an open house, anyone I can visit this weekend. And they'll let you know, and you just show up there and watch what they do.
These are some other ways to locate the property. Preferably, you want to do one in Summerlin or near your house or where you're trying to get business from, okay? You always want to do an open house on your listings. What's your thought, Jihad, if it was a gated community compared to a non-gated community? Does that affect whether you should do it or not, you think? Is there a benefit to either one?
No, you should do it either way.
Okay. Which is, if you were a consumer though, which is easier for you to go see?
Then ungated.
Yeah. So that's just something to consider. That sometimes if it's gated, people don't want to stop or they don't have the code.
So what I do in that instance is because you're preparing 4 or 5 days before, you need to reach out to the HOA and explain to them, I'm doing an open house from 12 to 4 on Saturday. Can I get a temporary gate code? And then what I do is I put one of our open house signs right by the gate, and I tape a piece of paper on there. Or you could tape your cell phone number and you can buzz them in and ask them, ask the HOA, can you put me on your gate code thing just for one day? Because then they call your number, now you've just grabbed their name and number. right? And then you buzz them in, and then they come to the open house. So there's ways around it. It's just a little trickier, but there's ways around it.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a choice, do one without a gate. More people will come in. But like what I used to do is put my phone number on there. Want to see the open house? Call Tim. And they'd have to call me, and I'm in the house. So I automatically get their phone number. Immediately. Yeah, oh, what's your name, Joe? Okay, Joe, the code is 1234. I give them the code if I can't buzz them in. They're not going to remember the code. And then right on my phone, Joe, open house, February 20th. And I got a lead right away. So there's different ways you can do it. So you have to kind of play around with it, okay? Always have at least 4 signs. We'll give you 4. But what a lot of agents forget to do is if it's Friday and you're doing it on Saturday and Sunday, call Suzanne. There may be more signs left that aren't being used. And you can get 3, 4, 5 more signs. But they'll only give you 4 in the beginning of the week, okay? Eventually, you might want to buy your own. I bought my own. I mean, yeah, I got a bunch of them at home with my stupid mug on there and my phone number and, open house, come see Tim.
Well, because the ones that we have here that we let you borrow, it's got the office number. So if they get lost and they call, it's just going to come to we have no idea where they're at or who's doing open house. But if you have your own signs, it'll have your name and number. They can call you for anything. They can follow your face. They get to know you and the way that you do it if you have them designed a certain way. So it's always best to have your own.
Yeah.
Ours are just kind of to fill in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hold open houses in your farm. And what do you think, Jihad? During the week or the weekend? Or does it matter?
I think weekend, that most people are off.
Yeah, I agree. But a lot of agents do it during the week, though, too.
I would watch when the schools get out, and then I would set up an hour or so before, because the parents that are driving, they're like, well, I have an hour, let me just burn some time, and now they're coming into your open house. So something to think about.
Like I said, I would try to do them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I had nothing else to do, right? I was a new agent. I didn't have any clients, so might as well do an open house. And I would do it maybe 2 to 5 to get the mothers going to school or coming back. Thursday and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday might be 12 to 4 or something like that. So don't negatively think weekdays are no good. They could really work sometimes. Okay, find the properties that you like and email the agents. So let's say you go in MLS and you find a house that you like. You say to Wendy, "This is beautiful. It's right around the corner from my house. It's easy to get to. What's the next step? What do you have to do next? Do you think?" To do that open house?
Is to get connected with the seller or the listing agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the listing, what you're going to want to do is call, text, or email that listing agent.
No, you're good.
Because you have to ask them if you can do the open house. So you can't, just because it's vacant, you can't just set up shop there. You have to get the okay with the listing agent. Now, Tim and I do things differently. Every agent does, right? So he preferred to just email 3 or 4 agents to see who called or responded back first. I personally, I'm a phone person, so I call, "Hi, this is Wendy with Realty One Group. You have a beautiful listing at 123 Main Street. I would love to hold an open house for you. Is that available for me to do this weekend?" Now, sometimes they'll tell you no because the sellers themselves don't want anybody doing an open house. But the listing agents sometimes are like, "Nope, I do my own open houses." That's great. But then there's agents like me that I didn't want to do it later on in my career. So yeah, absolutely. And I would just keep a running list of all the agents that love doing open houses. And every time I had a listing, I'd call those agents, "Hey, I've got a vacant home if you want to do an open house." So I call, Tim emails, but either way, you're going to want to call, text, and email. If you call them and they say yes, say, "Great, I'm going to shoot you an email." I always like to put things in writing. Per our conversation, just a few minutes ago, you're allowing me to do an open house on your listing 123 Main Street for Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 3.
When we get
or
ready,
1 to
I'll
4,
just turn them
whatever
off
it
and
is,
push them
right?
to the side.
I like to have it in writing just to confirm. Then that way, because I want them to set the MLS, there's a little open house like a tab that you could put in there, and once they change it to that they're doing an open house or anybody's doing an open house, it goes on Zillow and everything else. So they can market it out, but that listing agent has to be the one that changes it. So we do want to ask them, "Okay, great, you're allowing me to do this. Can you change it or add it in the MLS so we can go ahead and market that everywhere?" And so that you're going to want to get with the agent, and then once you get approved from the listing agent, you must stop by the house. I always suggest, even if they tell you yes, you can do it, drive by the house that day, because you just see pictures of the house that they want you to see. You might not like the neighborhood. It might back up to a gas station or a car wash. You might go inside and go, oh my gosh, this is awful. Because your job is to show the house. Well, a lot of people come in and they're, why would you even do that? Oh my gosh, it needs so much work. And now you're spending your whole time at the open house defending the house, and it's not even your listing. You're trying to get buyers or sellers. You can say, you know what, I just toured the house and I don't think it's gonna fit what I'm trying to do, but thank you so much. You can cancel. Do it that same day. Don't wait till the day before, and now they've been promoting open house, you've been promoting, and now all of a sudden you're canceling. So I always say, when they give you the go ahead and view the house, try to do it that same day, or tell them, I'm gonna stop by tomorrow morning just to confirm everything is the way that it is. I always like to look, even if it's vacant, if the house is clean. If the windows are all dirty, if there's stuff on the counter, food everywhere, the place needs to be mopped or swept, or the pool is disgusting, like, is there any way that you can have somebody come in and tidy up before I do my open house? Again, this is your reputation. So if you start doing open houses on houses that are priced up here, but the quality is down here, you might want to reconsider, because they do come in. They think it's your listing, so they're going to start pummeling you with all of that. Why are you doing this? Why is the price so high? Why does it look like this? Are you changing the pool? Are you doing like? And it's not yours to defend. You're just there to meet them and show them, and does this match your search, and what can I help you with? So I always say double check, and if it is not something you want, then just graciously back out. Say, thank you so much, I don't think this home is gonna fit what I'm trying to do. Tim just took the clicker, so let me see if I can, there we go, okay. So, yep, okay, so if you're going to send an email to the agent, here's what we suggest you do. It's very basic, but hi Mary, congratulations on listing at 111 Banana Street. It's gorgeous and I love the photos. Reason for the emails, I'd like to do an open house this weekend on Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 5. I will promote your listing on all of my social media, as well as Realty One groups and Facebook page. I'm confident I'll get a strong turnout. Let me know what you think, or is that available for me to hold an open house? Would you allow me to do an open house? It's whatever, and then sign your name. We always say, pick 3, 4, 5 agents, because some agents don't respond. That doesn't matter if you call them, they don't call back. You email, they don't email back. They might not get it. It might go to junk for a couple of days. So go ahead and reach out to a couple of agents, 2, 3, 4 of them, and see which one. And if you book one, just say, okay, you know what? I temporarily, right now, I've got one. I'm just going to go view it tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, then yes, I'd love to do yours as well. I'd rather have more agents saying yes than less, right, at that point. So you want to do a nice email. If you do it first in an email, then you don't have to go back and call and go back and email. But again, I like to communicate by phone. It's however you guys want to do your business. You're going to figure out which way works best. Now for slides, that's pretty much all we have, but I wrote up some stuff too. That just kind of goes over with everything, a few things that we couldn't put on the slides, but the reason for us only allowing the realtors to do it for Realty One group ones, as I mentioned, was because of the NAR rules. It's challenging, because if it's not your listing or it's not your brokerage listing, everybody that comes in, you have to stop. I need you to fill this out. People are reluctant to fill out something, because you're going to make them fill out a BBRA if it's not your listing or the brokerage listing. People are very reluctant to go ahead and fill that out a contract, sign a contract, when they don't even know you. They're just trying to view the home. But if it's a Realty One group listing, you can just say, oh, sure, go ahead. If they want to make an offer, then you do the duties owed and the BBRA. But they're able to go ahead and view it because it's with our brokerage. It's easier way for you guys to do open houses, right? I'm going to pull up the MLS in just a minute and kind of show you. But you're trying to find homes that are vacant, that are in decent condition. Don't back up to grocery stores or car washes or what. I try not to do them on condos, because they are a little bit harder to navigate, because you almost always have a gate code. They've got all these restrictions. You've got all these building numbers. It's not just like, here's the house number. It's like, okay, this building, this address, but this building number and this unit number, and so people get lost. So you're going to have to use 2 times the amount of signs to try to get them through the whole community. It's not saying that it can't be done. It's just way more difficult for you guys to do that. And then We talked about the gated homes. So I wanted to touch upon master plan communities like Southern Highlands, Summerlin. You do need to call their HOA first to see if you're allowed to, where you're allowed to place your open house signs. We just found out that Sky Canyon, there are no open house signs allowed outside of the gate. So people are driving around there and not even knowing that there's open houses until they get inside that community gate. Then they're like, oh, there's an open house here. So it makes it very challenging. So if you have a listing and you want to do an open house, or you have somebody that calls you that says, can I do an open house? I'd love you to, but just know you can't put the open house signs out because the Sky Canyon is taking our open house signs. And then you have to chase them down. They might charge you a fine for doing that, but it has to be inside. So you always want to check with your HOA, but then the master plan communities as well have their own little rules. So first we go into the area that you're interested in and to hold an open house. It's like your farming area. I know Tim says closer to Summerlin because we're in the Summerlin office. But if you farm in Centennial Hills, then try to stay in that area because you want people getting used to seeing you consistently in your farm area. Sometimes it's not even in an area that you want, but it's a vacant home, it looks great, and you want to do an open house. Awesome. It doesn't have to necessarily be in your specific area, but it's always a good way to just keep your presence known in your farm area. You want to make sure it's a desirable home and in the right price range. You're going to do the comps on that home because there is no sense in sitting at an open house that is $150,000 overpriced because everybody's going to come in there and start giving you a hard time, and it's not even your listing. Why did you price it so high? They think when you're holding an open house that that's your listing, regardless, right, of what the signs say. They don't care. They think you're sitting there at your open house. So it's very hard to sell a house like that when it's overpriced. So again, you have to do a little research. You are finding the homes that you want. You're looking at them, seeing if the pricing is right, and then you're reaching out to the agent to see if they'll allow you to do it. 4 or 5, your home's in good condition. And then again, like Tim said, try to hold an open house on the same property 2 or 3 days in a row. And the reason being, it takes a little bit of time to prepare, and that's what next week's class is going to be about, is how to prepare for the open house. You got to do flyers, get list reports, get your stuff that you're putting out. I do a tablecloth and all my flyers and brochures and all of that stuff. So if you do one house on Thursday, one house on Friday, another house on Saturday, that's 3 times. You have to prepare for 3 different open houses. So if you can do them 2 or 3 days in a row, you just prepare once for that whole weekend, and it makes it a little bit easier. So right now I'm going to go and pull up the MLS and just kind of show you where the best way to go to find them. So let's click, let me go out of here. And then, he's already in here. So you're going to go into Matrix. So once you click on a matrix, it's going to open your dashboard. Let me get rid of all these. So if you go to the bottom, you're able to move these boxes around. So I got to find, this is Tim, so I got to find Tim's boxes. Okay, right here, my listings. You have my office, my office active listings. There's 209 listings out of the Summerlin office, right? We don't know if they're vacant, but there's 209. So you would click on that. There's 2 different ways you can do it, right? So you click on that and it'll list every listing that Realty One Group has. So let me see if I don't think you can't add a tab in this, but you would have to go through each one. And this one's a longer way to do it. So you would click on it and then you'd scroll to the bottom and see if it's vacant. So this one is vacant, so you could put that down as one that you want. So that you can go to the next one and say, okay, which one is this? Okay, let's go to the bottom. This one's got owner occupied. The reason why we tell you to do vacant, especially when you're new, is because you're responsible for that home. If you open the house up and you're letting people just roam around, people's belongings are there. So if they get stolen, you're the one in the house. So if I do open houses, which is very rare, on houses that have people living in it, I have a list. Make sure all mail is put away, all prescription drugs are put away, all jewelry is put away. Because back in the day, there were a few years back that you would have big groups of families that would come in, and the wife is distracting you with a baby. Oh, look how cute. And then the husband had a blanket. He hit a bunch of realtors, but he had a blanket over his arm, and he would go upstairs and start stealing things and put it on the blanket. And so the wife is downstairs with the agent, and that's why sometimes it's great to have a second agent there. You know, you can, if there is an owner-occupied home, maybe that's the way to do it, is partner up with an agent that can follow somebody around or give them a tour. So that's why we try to tell you to do it on a vacant homes. It's less of a liability and less to have to watch, right? So you can do that and just see if they're owner-occupied or vacant. There's another way to do it, and this is the way that I suggest, is you go to search, you click on residential, and I remove all of the boxes except for active, right? So I want all active searches. You can search by a map and just like in an area, like I only want Summerlin, and you would highlight that area, right? So you can highlight, oops, I'm gonna go down here, right? You can highlight this whole area here that says Summerlin. So say I'm looking for the open houses in this area here. Boop, boop. So I'm gonna just say, hey, I love this area, this is what I wanna do. Oh, it's not letting me click. Any open houses over here and above Charleston, right? So you do that, click up here, whoops, scroll out, and then there's my box, right? So now it's giving me all of these. So then you can go back to criteria, and I would type in vacant homes. I don't know if he does, see, occupancy description. You have to add this box. To add this box, you would go to additional fields and click add and remove, and type the one that you want. So it's called occupancy, and it automatically pops up. So you would click on it and put that in there. And if I hit add, it's gonna tell me I already have it in there. See, occupancy description was not added because it was already in your search. Okay, cool. So you go back, and he does have it in there. So if you scroll to the bottom of your criteria, it says occupancy. So I would click vacant. So now I have a highlighted area, right? And then I have only the vacant homes that are in that area. So then I click results, right? And then I start going through them, like, well, first I take that back. You have to add another one that says list office name. So you're gonna go back to your criteria, and you scroll back down, and then additional fields, you're gonna add, and we're gonna go list office, oops, list, oops, what happened? List office, office name. Oh shoot, this keyboard is really funny. It did not pop up, but I know he already has one there, right? So we're gonna go back, and I'll show you how to do this. So results. See, he has it here, but like if you click on any of this gray area, hold on, I can't see. It's really weird on this one. Okay, so just click in any like gray area, and you can insert a column. When you insert the column, it asks you what the field is. So this is where you would type list office name. And again, oops, office. I don't know if it's gonna come up. It's not gonna come up because he's already got it in there, but this is how you guys would do it. So click on, say next to address, you're gonna left click, and it's gonna pop up, insert a column, and then you type in what column you want, which would be list office name. Since he already has it, it's here. So now what I like to do is I click on that, and it puts them in order, right? So I'm looking for Realty One Group vacant listings. So now we've got Realty One Group. There are only, in that one small area that I highlighted, there are only 4 vacant properties that are Realty One properties. So it tells you the listing agent's name, tells you everything, right? So these are the 4 that I'm gonna wanna go ahead and click on, right? So then I would find it, and I scroll to the bottom, it says vacant, and here's the agent's name, and then I would call that agent, or I'd email that agent. I'd love to do an open house on that sheet that we gave you. So you do that, and then you go, okay, this is great, but I've looked at the pictures. Okay, this looks like a beautiful home. This is great, parking's great. Looks like it's been renovated, looks pretty. So you're gonna go through it and then say, okay, so when they say yes, you can, then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go by, take a little quick look at it, and then I'll confirm with you tonight or tomorrow. That's how you properly do it. Because otherwise, if you go to the front, the main page again, my dashboard, you're gonna click on my office active listings, there's 209. You literally have to open each one. These are all Realty One ones, but you have to open each one to see if they're vacant. It doesn't let you add the tab there. So again, to add all those tabs to make it faster for yourself, you're gonna go to residential, just click active, and then if you don't want a specific area, you just want to know all of the Realty One group listings, you're going to click on here and then as results, and then you're going to find the column that says list office name. There's over 500, so it says too many to sort. So now you're going to go back and do like any kind of criteria. We can click on vacant again. So click vacant. Now that should brought it down to 2,400. So now we hit results. And now you go back to your list office name. Okay, now they're in order. So because we're in the R's, we're gonna go back to like the back end here. See, and we'll go, and we're trying to find the Realty One group. Oops, it jumped around. 98, 92. So previous, 91, the Ridge, previous. Agency. So we're almost getting there, and you're going to find all the Realty One ones. So this is in the whole valley. Okay. So I'm just finding. There we go. Okay, it's probably the page before too. Yep, page before. Yeah, look at how many we have. So these are all Realty One vacant ones. Okay, let's see. Okay, yep. So it starts here on this page, and we must have 5 or 6 pages, so you know these are all Realty One. It doesn't matter if the listing agent is in the Green Valley office or the Northwest office. You're just looking for any Realty One listing that's vacant. This is the best way to do it. And then you can find the one that you like, because you're going to click on it, and then you're going to go to the area. You're like, okay, Ash, let me see. Do I like this area? So you're going to, well, before that, you're going to try to find out where that area is. This might open too many of them. It's going to open too many. So let's go back. You're going to go, let's see, results. This is the one. So you could click the map here, and it's going to show you where this house is in the whole city. So now we know this one house that we clicked on. Where are we at? We're in Boulder City. So you might not want to go to Boulder City. So you're like, okay, let me unclick that, and then we're going to go find a different one. So you go maybe to the next one. And then you do the same thing, and you're like, hey, where's this one located at? It's by the Galleria Mall. Hey, I'm okay with doing something down there, so great. So now you put that on your list to call. You're going to look through the pictures, see if it's something that you like, and then look through the list to call. So any questions on how, it's a lot of information, but this is just how to find the homes. Next week is that we found our home. How do we prepare? What flyers do we need? We're going to show you how to get with the title rep and get your list report set up, and how to print all that out, and what to supply at your open house. So, any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If you need this handout of the slides, just let us know, and we'll go ahead and get that for you. Have a great week, guys.